So now we've come to the really exciting part about creating a walk cycle. Now, the tricks that I'm about to show you, this is not the only way to do a walk cycle, but it's just the way that I found works for me. And of course, you can always tweak this and add and change around a few things. So what we're going to first do before we do anything is we want to set all of our animation, any keyframes that we make, we want to make these set to stop motion frames, meaning that we don't want the computer to interpolate or make any tweens for us. That's going to be turned back on, or we'll pretty much turn those back on manually once we're done, but we want to set up our keys first without having any tweening. So I'm going to simply go to Animation, and I want to come down and select Stop Motion Keyframe. And so if you notice now that's checked. And we have two different layers here. Technically we have the Donnie peg, and we can see the entire body there. And we have our ground. I'm going to go ahead and lock the ground. And I'm going to turn on our Animate button. And I'll grab the Select tool. And what I want to do, first and foremost, I want to make sure we have enough room to play around. So I'm going to select frame 40 on Donnie's layer. I'm going to insert a frame so we can extend the exposure. Simply press F5. And what I want to do in this first frame is I'm going to set the legs kind of to a little V here. So I'm going to rotate the front leg a little bit, move this back into the position that I want it to be. And of course I'm going to do Shift B, move down the hierarchy. All right, do Shift B again, move down to the foot. Looks good. And we'll select the back leg. I'm going to press the letter B so I can grab the thigh there. And move that backward. Looks pretty good. And I'll click the keyframe so I'm grabbing the entire peg here. And using my arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm going to make sure he is coming down. And if you notice, I'm placing the heel, the front heel, a little bit lower. And the toes kind of like right on the line there. All right, so that's what I've done for the very first frame. I'm going to select the second frame and insert a keyframe, F6. And I'm going to turn on my onion skin. Click once in the camera view to deselect everything. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the reverse of this. Because basically, there's only two positions. There's the upside down V, and then there's like a figure 4. And the only thing is we're going to just do those two positions and then reverse them. So we're going to do the reverse right now. So I'll click the thigh, and I'm going to rotate this backward. So it's almost like the original leg there. And we'll do Shift B, move down the hierarchy. Shift B again, and we'll rotate that foot out. And now to get the other leg, I'm going to open up, I'm going to expand the peg here, and so I can grab the back thigh. And now I'm going to rotate this to emulate what's shown in the previous frame here. We'll do Shift B, move down the leg, Shift B again. All right, so now we have frame 1, and then we have frame 2. So what I want to do is I'm going to collapse this peg right now, and I'm going to move the second keyframe. I'm going to move it out to about, frame 12. Now, it looks like there is an interpolation happening there, and I don't want it to, so I'm going to select the very first frame, and I'll do Command L, and that's going to get rid of that little tweening there. I'm going to double check and make sure what's happening. Make sure our stop keyframe is still set up. All right, now the next thing I want to do, I'm going to select about frame 6. I can look right here and see it's frame 6. And we're going to insert a keyframe, F6. And for this, this is where we're going to create the figure 4. And so the front leg kicks out first. So I'm going to select that for frame 6. I'm going to bring the leg straight down. And the back leg, I'm going to select, let's do Shift, letter B. Oh, actually, let's do B and move back up the hierarchy. We'll bring the leg forward, Shift B, and we'll grab the calf. And we're going to bend this. And I'm going to go back up the hierarchy. Let's go press the letter B again. And so if you notice, just doing this to create a nice little figure 4, I'm just tweaking things going back and forth. And that's just simply pressing the letter B or Shift B to move up and down the hierarchy. I'm going to turn off that front leg just to make sure everything looks good in the back here. All right, so there's the leg. So there's that movement, and if you note what I have done with my onion skin, this is what's going to help out a lot. I only have this set up so it can view 2 frames. So now when I select the very next frame and insert a keyframe, F6, any movement I decide to do, I'll be able to see what just the previous frame is. So I'm going to rotate back leg a little bit. Let's do Shift B. We'll bring it down straight. Shift B again, and we'll straighten out the foot. And you want to make sure that you are always using your peg and you're not selecting anything lower than that. Make sure we have all those set up. And what we'll want to do now is take the front leg. I'll click once. We'll take the front leg, and that's what's going to be our figure 4. So Shift B will move down. And again, we'll adjust this. The cool thing about working in Toon Boom, if you're familiar with working in Flash, moving your different elements around mid-tween, it might get a little bit crazy, but actually Toon Boom handles it very well. All right, so we have that key set up. So we have, on frame 1, we have the key where the front leg is out. And then we have, on frame 6, what we want is that front leg is straight down. And now we're going to take this other figure 4 here, and we're going to move this out a little bit. So we did frame 1, frame 6, frame 12, and we want to make sure Bob is back down here. And And on frame, oh, we should do this about frame 18 actually. I'm going to make sure this is back up a little bit. So we have our 4 keys set up. And now, to see if this is going to work, we'll select the very first keyframe and we'll do Command K. And so we see the animation happening there. We'll select this keyframe. We'll also do Command K. And we'll select the next keyframe and do Command K. All right. So the only thing we're doing at this point is making sure I'm going to extend our floor here. Make sure our character is doing what he should be doing. So it's definitely going to go up here. And here, his back toe should be touching that line. And here, his foot should be up a little bit. All right, and now we have that set. We're going to do one last thing here. I'm going to select frame 24. We're going to insert a keyframe, F6. And I want to copy the very first frame, Command C, and paste it, Command V. And we'll select frame 18 and we'll make sure this is going to do a tween. So we'll do Command K. And to make sure we can see this loop, I'm going to select this little black triangle here. And I'm going to set it right at the frame right before the last keyframe. And that'll give me a nice little work area that we can loop. So we'll test out our animation. And we have a few things to tweak, but it's the basic setting of how we would go about the animation. Of course, we can go in and change out some of the drawings for Donnie's feet and have them bend, but this is the very first part of the animation, and we'll be tweaking it as we go along.